United States is the third largest country in the world in terms of area and almost the third largest in the world in terms of population. The United States is known as a country of immigrants because throughout its history, for centuries, indigenous peoples have settled in the vast territory we know today as the United States. But then starting in the 16th century, immigrants migrated from Europe to the New World, establishing colonies and then displacing the native population. Europeans continued to arrive and settle in the world. Over the next century, although Native Americans resisted European attempts to gain land and power, they were often outnumbered and did not have strong weapons to resist the arrival of Europeans. Apart from that, European immigrants also brought diseases that the native population had never experienced, which then had a very terrible impact. An epidemic in 1616 managed to kill around 75% of the Native American population in the New England region in North America. So by the mid-19th century, most of the Native American tribes had been exterminated or relocated to live in much smaller areas such as the Midwest. In 1776, the colonists living in New England drafted a Declaration of Independence from Great Britain. The settlers fought for and then achieved their independence and then formed the Union of States, based on a new constitution. Although it was stated that all men are created equal in the Declaration of Independence, the fact was that the new nation was home to millions of enslaved people. In 1863, after nearly 250 years of slavery in this country, slavery was abolished. However, this does not end the racism that appears to be entrenched. Therefore, on December 24, 1865, an organization called the Ku Klux Klansmen, or also known as the Klans, was founded, an extreme racist group in the United States. The history of the white racial supremacy movement in the United States cannot be separated from this group. This group holds the view and believes that the white race is the best race compared to other races in the United States. They founded this organization with the aim of fighting to eradicate blacks and minorities in America, such as Jews, Catholics, Asians, and immigrants. Even though this organization has been established illegally for 4 years, in fact, this organization is still operating and continues to carry out actions that claim the lives of black people and other minority groups. Racism has always colored various aspects of United States history. Deep-rooted, eliminated, systematic racism, and even legal force is a form of discrimination against non-white races that is applied in the United States. White citizens of European descent, like white Protestant citizens, have enjoyed the privileges of first-class citizens. They have easy access to education, immigration, legal processes, and so on. Thus, racist attitudes were born, along with the formation of the American state itself. Racism was born in the womb of colonialism and capitalism, which began with the conquest of nations and races. They treated the conquered races as slaves forced to run the machinery of capitalism. The Native Americans, namely the Indians, were massacred and removed. Since the arrival of European immigrants in the 15th century, African people were taken by force and traded as slaves. Until now, discrimination against indigenous people and black people still continues to occur. Even discriminatory attitudes also affect non-Protestant European immigrants, impacting communities such as Jews, Hispanics, Irish, Poles, and Italians. American society still views them as an inferior race and are not considered fully white. Racism was at the heart of slavery in North America and colonial activity and development in Western Europe, especially in the 18th century. The idea of race was created to magnify the differences between people of European origin and people of African descent whose ancestors were racial, enslaved, and kidnapped to America. By characterizing African Americans and Americans of African descent as supporters of slavery, they attempted to justify and maintain a system of exploitation. while depicting the United States as a bastion and defender of human freedom, democratic human rights, and equality. Even though, of course, their actions show a very real contradiction. Even though there are legal steps to protect minority rights in the United States, the personal beliefs and practices of many Americans are still racist, and some groups with lower status are often used as scapegoats. Unfortunately, this trend has continued into the 21st century. Statistics presented by the BBC in 2020 regarding police shooting deaths in the United States show that African Americans are more likely to be shot dead, especially when compared to their overall population in the United States. In 2019, for example, although the percentage of African Americans was 14% of the total population, those killed by police shooting accounted for more than 23% of 1,000 deaths. This figure has been relatively consistent since 2017, even though the number of white residents has actually decreased. The death of George Floyd, who died while being arrested by police in the United States, became a major figure in demonstrations demanding equality and justice for African Americans, and was recorded as the largest protest against racism since the 1960s. The case that happened to Floyd on May 25, 2020, is one of the long blurred portraits in the history of racism in the United States, which ended tragically. In the end, even though the United States is known as a developed country with the largest economic power in the world, to this date issues of justice and racism are still rooted in almost all aspects of American life. America, which is known as a superpower with all its political and economic power, seems helpless to face the reality of racism which continues to occur and is repeated throughout its history. And the funny thing is that they always claim to be the most democratic and humane country in the world.
Thank you.